green and gold are here. It's time to go in the huddle with Jared Cook and Aaron Ripkowski. In the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network is brought to you by Mills Fleet Farm. Now to Game Day Sports Bar in Appleton with our Justin Hall.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Game Day Sports Bar here in Appleton in the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. We'll be joined momentarily by Packer tight end Jared Cook as Mother Nature is treating us to some
we have some weather in the area, as they like to say.
Some nice Wisconsin weather. I know Lenny is on the way with Jared, so he'll be joining us very
We said take your time, don't rush.
Take your time, don't rush, get here in one piece because they need you Sunday in Dallas
Correct.
as the season rolls on.
We don't need any more injuries on the team.
No, absolutely not. He's John Jordan from WHBY and Razor 94.7, a couple of our local affiliates. We'll hear more from John coming up a little bit later on in the show. But, yeah, we'll be talking with Jared here. 38-13 win over the New York Giants yesterday. And really a crazy game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you think about it, this game was 6-0 midway through the second quarter.
It was scary. I don't know if anyone else does this, but one of my best friends and I, when we can't watch the game together, we kind of text back and forth. And his comment was, they're really lucky they're just down by 6 right now. And you have to agree with that. And the fact that the defense, however you rate the defense, held them to that at that point was a huge factor in this game.
And it's not often, too, like you said, where you score that touchdown, you score that first score, and they go up 7-6, and it really did not feel like they were winning that game. And then, of course, the Hail Mary happens, which is becoming all too common here in Green Bay. No one's going to argue against that, though.
That's absolutely crazy.
And then you're in the halftime locker room up 8 in a game where, for the most part, you were dominated and didn't look back from there.
Right. Yeah. As you said, you were happy as a Packer fan to see them up at that point, joyous to see them hit that Hail Mary at the end of the first half. And then it was a little strange with the fourth down call from Coach McCarthy. I know that came under big-time scrutiny. If you were on the social media anywhere, there were various ways to describe the play calling of Coach McCarthy at that point. It was odd, and then they go up, and then it's only a 1-point game at there. So it was tight. It wasn't a blowout game, but then for them all of a sudden to be end of the game, 38-13. You're like, what happened? Where did this game go?
It's a play where I think you look at what it means when you make that call. You feel like momentum's on your side. You have a lot of confidence in what your defense was doing, although it led to what it did, but you also had confidence in what your offense was going to do to be able to, convert on a play like that, because it can be such a game-changing play. But it's one of those things when you watch football, when you watch games, and you try to put your finger on, okay, how good is a team? It's not the situations they put themselves in, it's how they respond to it.
Correct.
And one of the biggest things in this now 7-game winning streak for the Packers is, yeah, sure, they've had some high moments, they've had some low moments, but those low moments, they're erasing them real quick, putting them in the back of their mind and moving on from them. And that's the mark of a team that, you're still one of the final 8 teams left in the NFL playoffs.
And you wonder if that's a combination of coaching, to coach the young guys on the team in that manner, to get them to forget about that play. Just forget about it, move on. You wonder if that's a factor of the veteran leadership in the locker room also. Telling the younger players that way, because it's a young team. It's still a very, very young and inexperienced team that we watch with the Green Bay Packers. And you also wonder if maybe that youth is another contributor, that it's just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. And then you look at, too, the performance. You mentioned some of the veterans. How about guys like, let's just throw a couple names out there, Randall Cobb yesterday?
Correct.
And what he was able to do, 3 touchdowns in his first game back from an injury. It was great to see that. That offensive line, too, I mean, they struggled early you can argue, okay, combination of the holding the ball on too long versus giving up a couple of plays, but they really got their stuff together in that second half. And maybe my favorite play of the game was Clay Matthews.
Oh.
and the strip sack that he had, and then the ball's on the field. Nobody wants it.
No,
and then all of a sudden he blows up Paul Perkins and takes the ball. He's like, my ball. I'm going to go get it.
I think he was upset that they only credited him for one fumble recovery on the play or one strip sack. He said, I stripped two people of the ball.
Two forced fumbles.
Correct,
yeah.
2 forced fumbles on it. He wanted the other forced fumble on that, and that was just hustle. I think leading up to that point, again, you're talking with the people that you're, sitting around with or you're watching the game, and you're like, where's Clay been? Where's Clay? Where's Clay? Well, there's Clay right there. One that just turned everything at that point.
And Julius Peppers,
J-Pep.
what he was able to do, he had a big play down there after the errant kickoff return decision by the New York Giants. One of the you get to the postseason and
Bobby
mental
Rainey
errors.
How would you like to be on that sideline, holding that ball, knowing you're falling out of bounds, and there's nothing you could do about it?
His reaction said it all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So 38-13, the Packers move on, and yes, Jared Cook will be joining us in just a little bit. As we mentioned, with some of the weather, the travel a little delayed, is getting some snow here in northeast Wisconsin for those listening here on the Woodward Radio Network. Dallas is the matchup coming up this week, and quite crazy to think of that. Not that these two teams are meeting again, but how they're meeting now. I mean, Dallas was so hot when Green Bay saw them. Not that they cooled off; they finished the year pretty well, but the Packers are really the team that people are talking about right now and appear to have the momentum going into this one. Role reversal from when they met in the regular season, and you'll take it. You want to be the hot team in the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely you do. And you look at the matchups now. You look at a Giants matchup that just happened, and I know a lot of people, a lot of Packer fans, were somewhat positive about, okay, well, we've got a home game, but the home game against New York hadn't turned out so well in the previous meetings with the Giants, and now you get to go possibly exercise some of those other playoff demons in Dallas, in a stadium that everyone's like, well, you're on the road, you're in Dallas, it's a hot team. Keep in mind, Green Bay's won in that stadium, won a Super Bowl in that stadium, so there's some familiarity in that house for sure. I'm going to get kicked out of here right now.
The crowd's going to be cheering here in a moment as Packer tight end Jared Cook joining us after his first ever NFL playoff game. And so fun you get to do it again, Jared.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out. I know we got a lot to get to with your thoughts on the performance yesterday as well. Get those audience questions in too, but how you feel? Wisconsin, man, you get a playoff victory and they give you some snow and freezing rain the very next day.
Feel great.
Feel great.
That's nature's confetti.
Right?
Yeah, that's what we get to here, yeah. But a lot to get to with the Hail Mary, of course, the performance preview in Dallas, and got some fun planned for you as well. But Jared Cook with us here tonight, and more from the Packer tight end when we return here in the huddle on the Woodward Radio Network.